So what does a female do if she's harassed on the streets or while taking public transportation? The matter was again raised during yesterday's Joint Select Committee meeting examining the sexual harassment bill. The discussion surrounded whether victims could seek recourse under the proposed legislation. Janella Precious has our report.
It's an issue which spans decades. Women facing sexual harassment on the streets and in some cases while on public or even private transportation. There was an expectation by some groups that victims would have been able to seek recourse under the long-awaited sexual harassment legislation, but they won't, prompting this question from a member of the Joint Select Committee examining the sexual harassment bill, Sapphire Longmore.
Whilst I recognize that we may legislatively refer it to another piece of legislation, could I be directed as to which piece of legislation that would apply?
I'm aware nothing is being done for street harassment, but something would have to be done separately. The legislation I've seen so far that deals with street harassment is criminal, and this legislation is more civil, so it would require something separate to be done. I don't think anything is being contemplated for it.
Committee member Angela Brown-Burke offered this view.
The majority of instances where women are harassed, sexually harassed, really takes place in the streets, and that we need to find protection for those individuals, or men or women, but our men as well, who are harassed sexually on our public thoroughfare and in the public domain, and not as restricted as this bill is. And don't get me wrong, I recognize the bill that we're working on as a seminal piece of legislation that is important, long overdue. People are waiting on it, and I know we have put everything into it. I still feel that something we have missed that opportunity.
There was, however, an assurance that the necessary legislation to deal with these matters is being worked on.
The difficulty that most women experience is that the issue is not always physical. It is the calling, the following, the stalking, the discomfort, and as well as the physical, yes, but it is the gap in the law is the offense of stalking doesn't exist, criminal harassment doesn't exist. And that is being recommended for inclusion at this point in the Offences Against Persons Act.
Janella Precious, TVJ News.